What is happening, AJ Gamer Dude here, and I've heard a lot about things like extraction shooters. I've heard that there's, a few of those on the market, that's the big hotness in the shooter realm, but I don't actually, play that sort of thing, nor do I have any interest in it, until something really bad or wrong goes on. So let me know, anyone in the comments below, if you actually play Tarkov, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Escape from Tarkov has released, is offering a special edition called the Unheard Edition. And I think I heard a great joke from Angry Joe from his video regarding this, where it just seems very unheard of to see what this game is trying to get away with. So I thought that was hilarious, and I do want to shout him out for that joke. It is absolutely stolen, but I will definitely put that on my chest as I say that. Now let's talk about this edition, what makes it incredibly bad, the value proposition behind it, and just the community sentiment, because I have a Reddit page open, and my god, let me tell you what's on there. Ooh. So let's just kind of jump right on into it first and foremost. So it says here the fans are calling it pay to win. Let's actually talk about that for a second. So it's a bundle that is $250 and gives you access to Tarkov, an offline mode, and things like that. Now, a few of the things at the moment are things like early test servers, okay, more equipment, and a larger stash. Now, this is where the pay to win comes in, is that the idea, at least from what I'm aware of the game, is that you're supposed to go in, you need to extract from or escape from Tarkov while getting as much loot as you can, and that loot that you get is kind of like the main draw behind it. Otherwise, if you die, you run the risk of losing the loot that you have collected, and possibly, I think, whatever you have on you. I'm not too sure about that last part. So the fact of the matter is that by giving you more equipment and a larger stash, or being able to carry more items on you at any given point in time, already gives you a benefit gameplay wise. And this previous version that they had access to was called the Edge of Darkness, and later on in this article it'll mention that it was $150, and the promise behind it was that any future DLC would be given for free, as this pretty much this paragraph kind of states. But if we go down for a bit, PvE was always going to be, actually, was it PvE? So the assumption players would consider PvE would be considered DLC. So the PvE mode, which I guess there wasn't one before, was considered to be part of the content that would be given for free, because that's what was stated with the Edge of Darkness edition, or the EOD as we're going to be calling it moving forward. And so what the creators of Tarkov are saying is that PvE is not DLC, but it is a feature of the Unheard Edition. So now we're kind of getting into legal speak, whereby they're trying to differentiate. Look, we said we would give you DLC. We do not characterize PvE as DLC. We are calling that a feature. And the thing is that the Edge of Darkness edition, or the EOD, sorry, was previously available until they stopped it in January, and now this Unheard Edition is the one that's going to be coming out. And this is going to get genuinely fascinating, but for those who have paid $150 for the EOD edition, they can get access to the PvE mode if they paid $100. So you pay $150 for EOD, you pay $100 for the PvE mode, and that gives you access to pretty much the content for the Unheard Edition, which is still, if you don't have any version at all, will still cost you $250. Any game that costs $250 is obviously not worth it. But the thing is that the $150 version promised any future updates would be provided, so that you're paying a heavy amount up front that later on down the line you can get more content. Now, with that being said, Escape from Tarkov did tweet out, PvE mode is a unique feature which is only available to the Unheard Edition. We will keep you updated on new features. I'm using air quotes, but you can't really physically see me do those air quotes. Exclusive for EOD owners. And then, of course, providing some context on Twitter through community notes. New game modes are generally accepted as DLC, even if it's put behind a paywall. Battlestate sold EOD with the promise they would receive free access to all subsequent DLCs. So obviously going into features with the whole legal speak and all that. In addition to that, characters will not lose progress so on the Unheard Edition, characters will not lose progress and will have an increased starting level after a server wipe, which happens every now and again. Because server wipe normally puts everyone on the same level as it says in this article. So the fact that you can already be at a higher level, again, that shows a little bit more regarding the pay to win aspect of it. Not play to win, what am I saying? And among other things. So, and then now we kind of get to the update on what's happened, where people who own the EOD edition are going to get the content that you would get from the Unheard Edition for 6 months. So they're not actually backing down. In fact, they're kind of doubling down, being like, here's the stuff that you can get, but only for 6 months. And among those things, as mentioned before, was perks to be able to skip daily quests, unique clothing and armbands, so that's all cosmetic unless it has some sort of gameplay ramification. Faster return on insured items, which again, that very much seems very pay to win, given that you're going in risking the loot that you are trying to get. The offline PvE mode available for 6 months, again, that's also part of it. And this is the most substantial thing that I feel like is kind of rubbish not to give to people, is high priority matchmaking. High priority matchmaking. You are putting better matchmaking behind a paywall. Jesus, if it wasn't already bad enough. So yeah, they are not, again, it hasn't quelled the ire of the community, which is very true. And now we're going to look at what the community has to say, because I have this Reddit page up about the Unheard Edition being priced at $250, and the community is in uproar. So I thought, you know what, let's go and have a look and see what the community is like. And it's only been negative stuff. Like, for example, quit 2 years ago, game went downhill fast and it absolutely exploded on Twitch. Around Lab's release was peak, which I assume was an update at some point. And it's fair to say, because Tarkov, another very important thing to keep in mind is that it is riddled with cheaters as well. That's a general sentiment that I've been reading regarding the community as well, is that there's a lot of cheaters in the space, and that hasn't gotten any better. In fact, people who are cheating are actually getting away with it, and it seems like the developers are just not doing anything to actually combat the cheaters either. So again, if you have experience in Escape from Tarkov, like, please do chuck them into the comments below, because I would be genuinely interested from the perspective of a player, especially long-time players. I feel like that's where the most amount of information we'll ever get from a first-hand perspective could ever really be. But yeah, bought Edge of Darkness for all future DLCs. How the F is offline co-op PvE not added as DLC? Goddamn, I feel scammed. We all do, man. We all do. Okay, so here we go. I wonder if this is going to be good. Yeah, actually, this looks pretty alright. So yeah, OP should have explained this a bit more in depth, but the reason community is mad is because the previous highest edition EOD said it would include all DLCs. New Unheard Edition contains PvE Tarkov, where you can play co-op with your friends and make progress that will never wipe separate from your online character. So that's the offline mode aspect to it. The devs are saying that this is a feature and not DLC, which is a crappy way of keeping it from EOD owners. There are also new features from the Unheard Edition that are gameplay affecting. So like the higher level when server wipes happen and things like that, while EOD has this in the form of a bigger secure container, Gamma. Something close to and even better than this could be acquired through playing the game. This new Unheard Edition gives players bigger pockets and unique items that will allow your friends to join you mid-raid. Okay, that's new. Not clarified as to whether this is for PvE mode or not, both of which seem to not be earnable in game. Again, just absurd to pay, $250 for all of this, but like it says here, $250 to play PvE versus PvP is infested with hackers. Gee, no thanks. Thanks, no thanks. Yeah, so at the moment, like, I guess there's some general negative sentiment towards the developers anyways, as it says by how many Avengers, which is anyone really surprised? Pick up your heel. I mean, everyone is just kind of not really feeling good about this. More slots on the free market. I stopped playing due to cheaters. Fair enough. Like, Jesus. Same. I bought it, never touched it for a few years. Finally jumped in 2 years ago. Really got hooked. Learned a lot. Then cheaters or a string of bad luck. Haven't gotten back. It's just not fun with that. So yeah, it's fair to say that no one is having fun paying so much money for it. There's a whole host of problems, and it feels like none of that is either being fixed or worked on as we speak. So really the negative sentiment is surrounding this whole thing. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation into the comments below. I would like to hear your opinion about this, both from an outside perspective as someone who isn't playing Tarkov, but more so for people who actually do play Tarkov, because it's an incredibly popular game. And I do want to kind of hear from people into the comments, sounding out about what this is like for them. With all that said and done though, like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 200 subs by the end of the year. And with all that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.